Now at 9, parents had the opportunity to dust off their wrestling shoes in Pittsburgh today for the Dragons Wrestling Family Fun Day. Plus, a charity event in Joplin helps raise funds to support local veterans. And
for some of us, Thanksgiving can be a happy family gathering or a source of stress. I'm CB Cotton. We've got some tips to get you through the day. Coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Officials say a commercial structure fire in Purdy, Missouri was at risk of toxic gas and a potential explosion. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Elise Noe. The fire happened Friday evening around 5:30 p.m. at the Purdy Farm Center. Fire agencies were then alerted and the area was evacuated and roads were closed due to the location of the fire containing ammonium nitrate, a strong chemical oxidizer. Officials say the fire was out by 7:15 p.m. Purdy Farm Center says they will continue business as usual. Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us for a first look at weather.
Well, it turned out to be a wet one for us today. Of course, we had showers, even a couple rumbles of thunder in there, but just kind of on and off rain, especially once we got into the afternoon. 57 was our high. 57 is our normal high. We started at 42 degrees during the morning hours, a record high is 75. And you can see most of us upper 40s to near 50 right now. We'll drop back into the mid 40s later on tonight. It's been kind of breezy as well. We've had these southeasterly winds at about 10 to 15 throughout the day, and we're going to see that tonight as well. Bands of showers continuing to push through. None of it is super heavy, but where you do see the yellows, that's where we are getting the more persistent rainfall, and this is going to continue as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. Temps into the 40s. More rain for us on Monday. We're going to look at that, plus Thanksgiving, all coming up here in just a bit.
We'll check in with you soon, Doug. Well, just days before the start of Missouri Southern's Thanksgiving break, the university hosted a Thanksgiving luncheon for international students. About 60 students were in attendance representing countries such as South Korea, Mexico, Japan, and many more. KOAM's Jasmine Knight has the story.
This year marks the 3rd year of MSSU's Thanksgiving Luncheon. Southern's international students come together to enjoy American traditions and food.
Our students have told us in the past they really enjoy this event. It's a great memory. They get to experience food that many of them have never had before. And I think they enjoy the time spending with each other and leaders of our campus just to have good conversations about their countries and about some American traditions.
Various community leaders, such as Missouri State Senator Jill Carter and Missouri Southern's Board of Governors, talked to the students about Thanksgiving and culture.
I know Mary and I both enjoy learning about different cultures, different places, and their experience here on the Missouri Southern campus.
For those involved, this is an event they look forward to every year.
They bring great value to our university, and also we are very committed to having them have a wonderful experience here on campus and in Joplin.
The university is very welcoming to international students, and that's one of the things that really attracted us to the United States, especially Missouri Southern. And the community is just so friendly and welcoming and open-hearted and just so giving, and so it's great to be where we can feel that we are very loved to be.
Today's Thanksgiving dinner features students from 13 different countries, and they all came together and had a great time. Reporting in Joplin, Jasmine Knight, KOAM News.
For many of the students in attendance, it was their first time celebrating Thanksgiving or even trying turkey. Well, Phoenix Home Care and Hospice today hosted a VFW fundraiser for local veterans. The purpose of today's event was to help support veterans that need it after serving our country. It included live music, a chili feed, and a silent auction.
You know, veterans served our country and made that ultimate sacrifice, and so we just want to always be mindful of ways to give back to them and say thank you and our appreciation for their time and service.
The entry fee for the event was $10 per person. The George Washington Carver National Monument today held an agricultural school on wheels event. The purpose of the event was to share knowledge about various farming techniques that George Washington Carver helped design in the early 1900s.
The Jessup wagon was a wagon that was originally drawn by George Washington Carver, and this is the sketch that you can see right here. And it ideally was to help all of the farmers who couldn't make it into, then couldn't get new information, because he would go out to the community, bring seeds, bring bulletins, and help the farmer.
The monument has events every weekend throughout the months of November and December. Go on over to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com, for more information. Pittsburgh High School wrestlers were able to get on the mat today with their fathers. The athletes demonstrated various wrestling moves, and then their dads were to copy the moves back to them. The purpose of the event was for the wrestlers to not only practice wrestling, but to have some family fun as well.
I got this idea from a friend of mine, another coach at Paola High School, Coach Darvin Willard. They do it over at Paola, and he gave me the idea, and we started it last year, and we had a lot of fun with it, and so decided to do it again this year.
After practice, the team and their families met at Chatter's in Pittsburgh for brunch. Later, we'll take a look at how communities are looking to remove forever chemicals from your drinking water. The Food and Drug Administration says it's screening imports of cinnamon coming from multiple countries. Concerns grow over possible toxic lead contamination after at least 34 children reportedly fell sick from contamination linked to Fute Puree pouches and applesauce products sold under the Wana Banana, Weiss, and Schnucks brands. But the FDA has yet to test samples of the cinnamon used directly in the now recalled products. The FDA says a manufacturer in Ecuador is most likely the source of the high levels of lead found in the items. A company is working to remove forever chemicals from drinking water in an effort to keep communities safe from potentially serious health risks. Fox's John Saucier has more on the story.
The EPA has been sounding the alarm on forever chemicals, or PFAS, in drinking water. These man-made compounds have been linked to serious potential health risks, including cancer. PFAS have been used to make firefighting foam, non-stick coatings, and carpets, and they can seep into water supplies. They don't break down easily, but the company StreamGo says it has a solution.
We have a tank where the water comes into, and we introduce very tiny bubbles into it. And as the bubbles rise up through the water, the PFAS attaches to the surface of the bubbles, rises to the top, and forms a foam. So we vacuum that foam off, and then that foam concentrates.
Buffalo, New York is just one of hundreds of communities trying to remove PFAS. The city sewer authority treats leachate containing high concentrations of the chemicals brought in from a massive landfill. Some activists have opposed Buffalo treating the waste, fearing it won't be able to remove potentially dangerous chemicals. The sewer authority says a cost-free pilot partnership with StreamGo has been a success so far.
We want to make sure that we're still doing our part as public health folks.
Removing PFAS comes with a high price tag, as communities will have to meet new EPA regulations. The Buffalo Sewer Authority blames the companies who produce PFAS in the first place.
We want to make sure that we continue to, ring the bell that the producers of these chemicals that have profited off these should be responsible.
Major companies, including DuPont and 3M, have faced lawsuits over their alleged roles in contaminating water with PFAS. In New York, John Saucier, Fox News.
Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, a look into the life and legacy of former First Lady Rosalynn Carter.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a wet Sunday for us today. Periods of rain, especially during the afternoon hours, and we still have it out there right now. And this is what we're going to see as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Here's a nice shot of our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex tower cam. Of course, downtown, we're looking northeast. The roads are wet. The roads are going to be staying on the wet side. We'll go through the overnight hours. All right, rainfall hasn't been too heavy so far. Where you see the green patches, those are areas that have picked up at least 1/4 of an inch of rain, but most of us are under 1/4 of an inch of rain, but that will start to increase as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Periods of showers continuing to work through, even a few thunderstorms once you get out between Wichita and also Oklahoma City. But where you see the yellows, that's where we are seeing a little bit more persistent rain. So we can look through Kansas, a little A little more persistent, Iola, Parsons, over toward Pittsburgh. Here's Oswego. And then once you get into northeastern Oklahoma, it also starts to pick up just to the west of Veneta. And then it's a little bit more splotchy once you get into southwestern Missouri. Not a whole bunch going on south of I-44, and then a pretty good batch from Mount Vernon, Lamar, up towards Stockton, and also Nevada. So everybody's going to get the rain tonight, and it continues to develop out toward the west, so that moisture will head in as well as we go through after midnight for us tonight. Upper 40s to near 50, so it is chilly. It's also windy. We can go outside sitting at 51, easterly winds at about 10 to 15. Humidity is at 74%. Plus the winds are going to be breezy tonight into tomorrow as they switch out of the northeast, and then staying windy as we go into Tuesday as well. So it's gonna be on the windy side next couple days. Rain chances tonight, high 8 a.m. Here's 2 p.m. So we're gonna have just on and off showers all the way through tomorrow evening. Let's go through time. I'm gonna stop at 3:30 in the morning. Bands of showers, maybe a random thunderstorm. As we continue, showers continue through the morning. May get a little bit of a lull late morning into the early afternoon, and then it will kind of start to wrap back in as we get into the afternoon hours. So here's 5 p.m. Let's go into tomorrow evening, 9 p.m., still rain. Then after midnight tomorrow night, it pretty much dissipates. We can't rule out a random shower as we get into Tuesday morning, but most of us will start to dry out at that point in time. All right, rainfall amounts. I think from this point on, most of us will pick up nearly an inch, which is good. We definitely need the rain. Here's your day planner for you on your Monday. 46 in the morning, 50 by noon, 50 by 4. High temp of only 53 degrees. And then we'll start to dry out a little bit, especially Tuesday afternoon. Random shower, but a high temp of only 49. So kind of chilly. 52 on Wednesday, 56 on Thanksgiving. So in our second half hour, we're going to look a little closer at Thanksgiving and also travel weather into this coming weekend with another storm system heading our direction.
All right, sounds good. Thanks,
All right.
Doug. Former First Lady Rosalind Carter has died at the age of 96. The wife of President Jimmy Carter, Rosalind, made her own mark on Washington while in the White House and continued to help others well into her 90s. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor takes a look back at her life and legacy.
Former First Lady Rosalind Carter was born in the small town of Plains, Georgia in 1927. The same place as her husband, the 39th President of the United States, Jimmy Carter.
I'd never doubted that he could be a great president.
Carter spent her time in the White House consulting with the president on both domestic and foreign affairs. She even attended cabinet meetings, sitting in any available seat. In 1977, she visited Central and South America as the president's personal representative, holding high-level meetings with leaders on issues like human rights, beef exports, and drug trafficking. But the First Lady's lasting impact is the role she played as the honorary chair of the President's Commission on Mental Health.
That was the beginning of a lifelong crusade for me to try to help make life better for people with mental illnesses.
Mrs. Carter's work resulted in the final report recommending the implementation of the largest reform of mental health legislation in close to 3 decades. She also established a new normal for all First Ladies, a staff in office in the East Wing of the White House. After leaving Washington, she spent her time helping others, serving more than 20 years on the board of the Carter Center in Atlanta, and building houses for Habitat for Humanity with the former president, leaving a lasting legacy. She was one of several female family members of past presidents honored by then First Lady Michelle Obama at a Mother's Day event at the White House in 2010. Through it all, Rosalind was by her husband's side during his cancer battle and recovery.
We've had an outpouring of support and prayers. In spite of all that's going on, it's been really kind of wonderful just to know that we have that kind of support.
The Carters were married for more than 75 years. They built a family with 4 children and nearly 24 grand and great-grandchildren. Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Coming up, Thanksgiving travel kicks off this weekend. We'll take a look at how airports are preparing for what could be the busiest Thanksgiving in over a decade. And for those hitting the road this holiday, you'll have a lot to be thankful for with lower prices at the pump. Americans traveling by car this holiday season may have extra thanks to give. The American Automobile Association says fuel prices at the pump are dipping. AAA says the national average fell 6 cents a gallon on average to about $3.34. The average is 26 cents less than a month ago and 40 cents less than a year ago. It's even better for some states like Texas and Georgia that have below $3 a gallon averages. And for those traveling in the air this holiday, be prepared for crowded airports as officials say it could be the busiest holiday travel season in years. AAA anticipates the highest number of Thanksgiving air travelers since 2005. With the 2 Sundays surrounding Thanksgiving the big ones. Industry experts say airlines are getting better equipped to meet that demand. AAA says 55.4 million Americans will travel for Thanksgiving. And those millions of Americans who are traveling could face some pretty serious delays on the roads and at airports over the next several days. Fox News correspondent Dana Marie McNichol is at the Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport with more.
Right now, there's over 1,000 delays and about 30 cancellations across the U.S., according to FlightAware. But we do expect to see more because of a storm pushing through central and eastern United States. Tornadoes, 60-mile-per-hour winds, and even hail as millions of Americans head to their Thanksgiving destinations. The Fox weather team says the worst day to travel is Tuesday, and TSA agents agree. They say the busiest days are Tuesday and Wednesday. Airport officials urge you to arrive 2 to 3 hours before your flight, and even earlier if the weather gets worse.
I was in check-in for about an hour and a half, just checking in my bag alone, which that's normally a 5 to 10 minute process.
Everything is going smoothly. He's worried about making the flight, but I have no worries.
We got here about 30 minutes ago, actually, and we're already almost at security. We're just kind of winging it.
Over the next couple of days, if you're hitting the road, AAA suggests leaving in the morning or after 6 to avoid holiday traffic. Heavy rain has the potential to cause drivers significant delays on Monday.
Most people are probably going to be heading to their destination on Wednesday so that they can arrive in enough time for the holiday, and then returning on Sunday, some perhaps staying over on Monday. So you can project that within that period of time, there's going to be a lot of people on the road.
TSA's goal is to keep those wait times to under 10 minutes for pre-check and 30 minutes for everybody else. In Atlanta, Dana Marie McNichol, Fox News.
Where does a prequel and a threequel land in this week's box office? We'll have the details up next. A prequel and a threequel hit theaters this weekend along with a holiday horror flick. Where did that leave the latest Marvel movie? David Daniels has our early estimates for the top 5 films at the box office.
Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria.
Five Nights at Freddy's fell to 5th place on ticket sales of $3.5 million. Horror fans gave thanks for Thanksgiving. The holiday slasher flick debuted in a tie for 3rd place with $10.2 million. Also earning $10.2 million, The Marvels, which fell 78% in its sophomore weekend.
My girl's like candy, a candy treat. She knocks me right up off my feet.
Trolls Band Together opened in 2nd place. The 3rd movie in the animated musical franchise took in $30.6 million.
Sing your way out of this one, Lucy Gray.
The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, debuted on top, earning $44 million. By far the weakest opening of the franchise, but easily enough to win the weekend. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Up next, a growing number of Americans are demanding a popular social media platform be banned after concerns over its influence on young people. More and more Americans are demanding the Chinese-owned social media app TikTok be banned in the United States. There's increasing concern the social media outlet is a bad influence on young people. Fox News correspondent Alexandria Hoff takes a look.
The videos promoting the letter are still really easy to find, and the trend comes off almost like an ad or a paid clothing review, with creators making near identical claims that bin Laden's words somehow launched them into an existential crisis. Here's a few.
I need you to stop what you're doing and go read A Letter to America. It is literally the craziest thing I've read in a while. And while I can't say that I'm that surprised,
I am pretty shocked.
This isn't like an argument for bin Laden, but he actually had some good points, as we're seeing.
He could have left the gays and the femme queens out of it, but the rest of it, he was eating.
Eating is a word there used for someone who's doing a really good job at something. So this has all amplified fear that the Chinese-owned TikTok is coaching young Americans into naive and misguided belief systems. TikTok is simultaneously fending off claims of anti-Semitism. Executives met with Jewish leaders and celebrities as the company is denying that the platform favors pro-Palestinian content. It has all reignited calls to ban the app.
The idea that bin Laden was a prophet and a hero who's predicted that Israel is the little Satan, we're the great Satan. That's what China wants them to believe. It's what Russia and that's what Iran wants them to believe.
Fox News Digital did get in touch with one of the TikTok influencers who went viral for promoting Osama bin Laden's letter. Lynette Atkins is a pro-Palestinian activist who stated this, quote, "I did not share the letter to promote any form of hate or violence against anyone, nor do I agree with the extremism in it. I was just shocked by what I had read and wanted to have a conversation about it with my followers." Atkins also said that TikTok had banned her account. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden were in Norfolk, Virginia today for an early Thanksgiving dinner at Naval Station Norfolk. The first couple served meals to military personnel and their families to kick off the Friendsgiving celebration. The gathering was part of the Biden administration's Joining Forces initiative to support the families, caregivers, and survivors of members of the armed forces. More than perhaps any other holiday, Thanksgiving brings family and friends together around the dinner table. With that in mind, we spoke with a chef about a few things to keep in mind if you're cooking for a crowd. Experts say you should calculate 1 pound of turkey for every person you plan to serve. Many people recommend rinsing off your bird before cooking, but the FDA says it's better not to. That's because washing it runs the risk of splashing uncooked turkey juice across our counters. When that happens, there's a greater chance of cross-contamination. Another question some have is, what's the best way to thaw your turkey?
My grandmother always used to thaw the turkey overnight in the dish drainer on the sink, and now it's a better practice to thaw a turkey in the refrigerator. 24 hours for every 5 pounds, so 2 or 3 days before you go to prepare it.
When the time comes to bake your bird, chefs suggest figuring 15 minutes of cook time for every pound of turkey. To avoid any foodborne illnesses, the USDA says your gobbler is ready when its internal temperature reaches 165 degrees. Also, you've decided to host Thanksgiving dinner. It's a big undertaking, but you've got this. Fox News correspondent CB Cotton has some do's and don'ts to help you breeze through the holiday with minimal stress.
While Thanksgiving is a time to celebrate with family and friends, it can also test your patience, especially if you're hosting a gathering. There are some steps you can take to minimize the stress. Do make a plan. Decide ahead of time what's going to be on your table. Don't wait until the last minute to go to the grocery store. And if you can make it in advance, do that.
Plan what the menu is going to be before you even purchase those foods, and make sure you have enough space for storing those foods properly, particularly in the refrigerator.
The turkey is often the star of the show, but also a source of anxiety for some cooks. Do thaw out your turkey ahead of time. A 12-pound turkey takes about 3 days to completely defrost. And whatever you do, don't put a frozen turkey in a deep fryer, or you could end up like this. Do plan on doing it outside because of the added risk. Keep a fire extinguisher on hand and keep kids and pets away.
On Thanksgiving, cooking fires are 3 times higher, so nearly 300% higher than they are on any other day.
And don't overdo it. There's no need to make 5 pies when 1 will do. If a family member offers to bring a side dish or set the table, let them. And don't make a point to wade into controversial topics at the table. You're probably not going to change the minds of your politically opposed family members, so avoid inviting unnecessary drama. And while these holiday gatherings can often be a whirlwind of emotions, do remember to count your blessings and be thankful for your family and loved ones. CB Cotton, Fox News.
Still ahead, a glimpse at the Chiefs' Monday Night Football matchup against the Eagles. Plus, a look into the Hyperloop after the idea was introduced 1 decade ago.
Well, of course, it was wet outside for us today. We've had on and off periods of showers across the region, even some pockets of moderate rain at times. So it's wet, so if you are going to be out, make sure you are careful. Also, the deer are moving and the roads are on the wet side. Nice shot, Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex, downtown Joplin. All right, rainfall amounts, of course, a lot lighter once you get into southwestern Missouri. Some areas haven't picked up much at all. And then where you see the green stripes, that's where we have at least 1/4 inch of rain that has already fallen across the area. All right, look at the bands of showers rotating through. And again, there's a couple rumbles of thunder. You can see a couple little lightning bolts down across Craig County in northeastern parts of Oklahoma. But we can tour where you see the yellows. That is a little bit heavier amounts of rain. So Parsons, Oswego, once you get down through Craig County, Veneta, just to the west of Miami, is where the rain is a little bit heavier. Let's go a little bit farther east, a little pocket just south of Neosho, and then it really picks up from Carthage up toward Nevada, over toward Stockton Lake. And again, we're going to have these periods of rain through the overnight hours tonight. Look how it's blowing up to the west of Ponca City. So that's going to just give us another batch that is going to rotate through later on tonight. Temperatures upper 40s to near 50. You can see the rain falling, 7th and range line. It's also been windy, and it's going to stay breezy tonight into tomorrow as the winds start to crank around out of the north and then really pick up as we go into Tuesday morning, and then they'll start to die off a little bit by Tuesday afternoon. But it's going to be windy over the next couple days. Rain chances stay high through the night. Here's 8 a.m., here's 2 p.m., 5 p.m., so those rain chances high throughout the entire day for us tomorrow. Let's go through time. Here's 3:30 in the morning. Bands of showers, even a couple thunderstorms, heaviest prior to about 7 or 8 a.m. And then we just kind of switch over to light showers late morning into the early afternoon. The light showers will pick up again late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. So we're stopping at 9 p.m. Still rain. Temperatures chilly all day long. Finally, this rain starts to work out of here by the time we head into Tuesday. So additional rainfall amounts, I think most of us near an inch, which is pretty good. We need as much rain as we can possibly get because, of course, 2023 has definitely been a dry one. Temperatures, they don't really go anywhere tomorrow. We only get up into lower 50s. The on and off rain as we continue. Let's go into Wednesday. Wednesday is a big travel day. Should be dry. Temperatures only into lower 50s. Let's go into Thanksgiving. Also, only central parts of Arkansas will have rain. Everybody else, a lot of clouds, mid-50s. And then as we get into Friday, I think also mainly dry, upper 40s, but we do have a storm system that's going to skirt across as we head into the weekend. So that may cause some issues for some travelers if you are traveling home this weekend. 53 tomorrow, 49 on Tuesday, 52 Wednesday, 56 on Thanksgiving itself, 51 on Black Friday, and then possibly a light mix as we head into the weekend.
All right, thanks, Doug.
You bet.
Well, coming up in sports, a local high school football player flips his college commitment to a local Division I program. Plus, there was plenty of action today from Division I men's college hoops. Brock Balderidge has the highlights and more up next.
The Pittsburgh State Gorillas move on to round 2 of the Division II college football playoffs. Now Pitt State still has a long way to go, but just like last year, at this time, the Gorillas will have to travel to the state of Michigan. Pittsburgh State defeated the University of Indianapolis 35-14 on Saturday afternoon. It's the second year in a row that Pitt State has eliminated UIndy from the first round of the Division II playoffs. The Gorillas will now travel to Michigan. Well, they will square off against Grand Valley State next Saturday at 1 p.m. So here's an updated version of the NCAA Division II college football playoff bracket. In Super Region 3, as we just mentioned, Pitt State is set to face off against Grand Valley State in Allendale, Michigan this weekend. On the other side of the bracket is the only other MIAA team still remaining, and that is the Central Missouri Mules. They will face the 1 seed Harding University. So there could be a potential rematch between Pitt State and UCM if both teams are able to win on the road. Well, the bye week is over and the flights from Argentina have returned as the Kansas City Chiefs return to Arrowhead for the first time in roughly over a month or so. And the Chiefs, they'll prepare for against the Philadelphia Eagles tomorrow night.
Players are a lot of the same, and they play hard. They play a physical style of football. They complementary football with their offense and special teams. We got to be able to protect up front. We got to be able to do all three phases for us, and whatever that is, whether it's run, play, action, every part of it. We got to be good and know that they're good. Great defense with great schemes.
It's a well-run organization. Howie Roseman has done a nice job. I'm so close with a lot of those people there, so they do a nice job. Jeffrey Lurie starts with him. So, you're familiar with it, but again, once the game gets on, then it's the game.
Well, Talon Chandler, the talented offensive lineman from Nevada, Missouri, originally committed to play college football at the University of Colorado, but after some thoughts and considerations, Talon had a change in heart. Talon Chandler announced on his social media platforms on Sunday afternoon that he has flipped his commitment from the University of Colorado to the University of Missouri. Chandler is a two-time first-team All-State offensive lineman. In his post earlier on Sunday, he said, in quote, "The University of Missouri has always been my dream school, and I never thought I would have the opportunity to stay home," end quote. Well, we're still about a month away from the conference season for the Division I men's college hoops, but K-State has a chance to bring home some hardware on Sunday afternoon. Look at that view. K-State facing off against Miami in the Baha Mar Hoops College Championship. The first half, Kansas State down 11. Arthur Kaluma splits the defense, gets the layup. Wildcats down by 9. Later in the first half now, Miami up 14. How about this? Former K-State point guard Nigel Pack with a 3 ball, and he got it. Then it's Pack again in transition. He is money. Not at that time. And then just before the halftime, Pack once again, nearly from the logo. And if you remember Nigel Pack, he transferred from K-State to Miami following the 2022 season. He finished with 28 points. Second half now, Miami up by 20. Keyshawn George follows the layup with a miss with a dunk. Canes up by 22 points. Then under a minute left to go in the game, Norshad Omier powers in from the paint, gets it to go. Miami holds off K-State as the Hurricanes win it 91-83. Another Division I game going on tonight. Big shocker here. The Missouri Tigers lose a game at home to the Jackson State Tigers. Jackson State wins 73-72. This was Jackson State's first win of the season. Mizzou falls to 3-2 on the year. Could be a big blemish on the resume moving forward. Also, another note I want to mention, former Webb City head coach and former Pitt State offensive coordinator Jerry Kill, head coach of the New Mexico State Aggies. They beat Auburn yesterday, and that's the first time in program history that New Mexico State beat an SEC team. So way to go, Jerry.
Wow, what a cool fact. All right, well, thanks, Brock. We'll be right back. It's been a decade since the world was first introduced to the Hyperloop, a concept promising to transform transportation. Tech giants such as Elon Musk embrace the idea of tubes that could theoretically take passengers over 700 miles per hour. But 10 years later, is the Hyperloop all hype? Well, Fox Business correspondent Kelly O'Grady has the story.
Over a decade ago, the Hyperloop was perceived as the future of transportation. Faster than planes, immune to inclement weather, and zero emission. The Hyperloop would connect major cities through underground, vacuum-like tunnels. Pods would transport passengers and goods by magnetic propulsion, making a journey from Los Angeles to San Francisco take just 35 minutes. But today, it has yet to move beyond concept. Elon Musk was championing the effort, creating an open-source design and even building a 1-mile prototype at SpaceX. The project was recently put on hold, though, and the model turned into a parking lot. A big barrier has been engineering the right technology. Maintaining an airtight tube for hundreds of miles is challenging, as is keeping passengers comfortable at near supersonic speeds. But cost is the biggest factor.
Building a huge network of perfectly airtight tubes around a country, it turns out that's pretty expensive. And so if anything's been a real factor, it's just been the capital necessities. It would be hard to do that without billions of dollars.
Bravo!
The Biden administration's infrastructure bill allows for Hyperloop companies to apply for loans, but a mass transportation overhaul would also require government execution. In Walter Isaacson's new biography on Elon Musk, he shares the billionaire blames the government.
If you ask him what the biggest problem facing America these days is that we're too risk averse, we have too many referees and not enough doers, and that's why we don't build high-speed trains.
Overseas, a number of Hyperloop companies are pushing ahead, and the global market is expected to balloon by nearly 7 times in the next 5 years. In the U.S., however, the Hyperloop still remains a pipe dream.
Up next, a radio station in Philadelphia is banning a superstar's music from the airwaves ahead of the Chiefs' matchup against the Eagles. Is there bad blood between a Philadelphia radio station and Taylor Swift? Just for this weekend. Q102 has banned Swift's music as it prepares for Monday night's Super Bowl rematch between the Eagles and the Chiefs. Even though she is a native of the Philly area and a noted Eagles fan, Swift is of course dating Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce. And as she's been seen supporting her man at Arrowhead Stadium, it seems Taylor has picked a side in the Great War. Now, so has Q102, choosing the Birds for the weekend. And come Tuesday, listeners will be enchanted by Swift's music once again. Monday's game is also a family affair. Travis's brother Jason plays center for the Eagles. That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with a video of orphaned mountain lions being rescued. We'll see you back here next time. Thanks for making us part of your night.